Hey everybody, welcome back to the video blog. This is the aftermath of lockdown edition of the blog. Right now is 24 hours from when that glorious event ended. It was phenomenal. I loved lockdown. I'm so glad I got the floor seats. I'm glad that I spent all that extra money. I'm just thrilled with the whole event, Just so happy. Thank you to TNA, Dixie Carter, all the guys who came down for putting on this great show. Thank you for choosing San Antonio, my hometown, where born and raised, for being the site of one of your major events. And that's just, first and foremost, I gotta say thank you. I have the results up right here, and I'm gonna go through each match and talk about each match. So, and give you guys my feelings as I was watching each match. Okay. Now, first of all, for those of you who don't know about the Alamo Dome in San Antonio, it's the biggest arena in our city. The SBC Center is a very good-sized building, but the Alamo Dome is just huge, gigantic, colossal building. So they only had a section of the building for the pay-per-view, they're ambitious, but they're not that ambitious, and they knew this going in. So that made a lot of sense to have like a section of it closed off. But the place was packed. I don't think it was completely sold out, but it was packed. San Antonio represented for sure, and they have confirmed. TNA confirmed that this was the largest U.S. crowd they've ever had. So big ups to my city, San Antonio. We did it big, and I'm very proud of where I come from. I'm very proud of my city and how we represented wrestling, and how we just came together. I'm just very proud of it. Yeah, let's jump into the pay-per-view. Okay. Match number 1 was a triple threat match for the X Division title. It was Kenny King defending against Christian York and Zema Ion. Great way to start off a pay-per-view. You start off with the X Division. I personally would have understood if they had just like a typical X Division wrestlers and X Division match instead of the actual, title being on the line. But, with Lethal Lockdown, naturally that's going to be the longest match of the night. So it made sense. I'm not down against it. It makes sense. Great opener. It was a very, very solid opening match. It was got to see the X Division guy, Zema Ion, who is a great aerial specialist. Christian York, who I think is just this. I think he's on a huge comeback role. Big thanks to TNA for that, because I think they're giving him this real, career rebirth, because I remember when they signed him, one of the matches he had on an open fight night was against Jeff Hardy. And, what's that saying when the company lets the newest guy in their company, he's not the newest wrestler on the block by far, but, the newest guy in their company face the world champion, Christian York. I hope things work out well for him in TNA. I definitely see him doing big things. Kenny King, I know a lot of ROH fans, of which I am one, have a lot of problems with Kenny King of how he left ROH. To me, I don't think he, should be demonized for what he did. He, another offer was on the table. It's not like he, had the written kind. He had a handshake with the guys, and so sometimes you got to do what's best for your family and everything. You got to consider all that. Take all that into account. So I don't hate Kenny King. I don't think Kenny King's a bad guy or should be demonized, anything like that. So maybe that's just my feelings, but the match was great. There was one spot where Kenny King went for a dive on the outside, and it looked like he just took himself out of the match on Christian York, but he recovered well. I could tell he was grabbing his back a little bit, from where I was sitting. I was like 5th row, really good seats. But it was a good match, of course. Kenny King won, retained the belt with the Royal Flush. And, it was a solid opener. It was good to see all three of those guys, get to really shine in that match. And so just great action. Love the match. Match number 2, Joseph Park versus Joey Ryan. Better than you thought it was going to be, because Joey Ryan, first of all, had to do the typical, heel thing, which was insult San Antonio. And, of course, Joseph Park went for the typical, new guy, you know, get the fans hype, and San Antonio rules, and naturally we popped for that. And, and I think that alone, the fact that he mentioned the Riverwalk and churros, and he was like, I think he gained a city's worth of fans last night. So Joseph Park, I like what they're doing with. I'm sorry. At first I was like questioning it, like too. I was like, oh, Joseph Park, you kidding me? It's growing on me, and I can't believe I'm saying that, but it's growing on me. So Joseph Park, and the match was just funny. Joey Ryan, I think, is one of the most underrated talents in wrestling sometimes, because he's a great wrestler, but his in-ring character is phenomenal, and he's so good at what he does. Joey Ryan is a guy who could be world champion, and you would love to hate him. You would love it if he were world champion, because you would so want him to lose. He would be a fantastic world champion. I'm not saying, I don't know if he'll ever get there, but if he ever does, I can be like, I called that. He's a great world champion. The match ended with Joey Ryan was going for a sunset flip, and Joseph Park just sat down on top of him, which was a beautiful moment, by the way. He went for the sunset flip, and of course Joseph Park is doing the grabbing for the ropes, and the fans, San Antonio, I love my town, was all saying, sit down, and he just like looked at the fans, he's like, okay, and just sat down. And then while he was pinning him, he did like that. It was a beautifully done, hilariously done, and again, you'd be surprised if you didn't see the match. You'd actually be surprised how good it actually was. I had fun. I thought it was great. I thought it was great. Yeah. So, moving on. Match number 3 was for the TNA Knockouts Championship. It was Velvet Sky defending against Gail Kim. Probably like my number 3 least favorite match of the night. Not saying it was bad, just in the pecking order of his least favorite matches. Of course, I'll get to my favorite matches in a minute. It was a good. It was a good match. Part of me thinks it could have been slightly better, but I think it was a pretty decent match. But I think they were using it more as a jump off point for what you could tell was a Gail Kim and Tarantero feud going on. Not much to say about the match except for when Gail Kim thought she had the 3 and then she shoved Taryn, and Taryn I'm gonna go ahead and call it since I can. I think she went black girl crazy. Honestly, I think she went black girl crazy because she jumped on Gail Kim and she was beating her down so bad extensions flew out of her hair. I mean, I'm just saying, extensions just were like everywhere, and you're like, wow, that's black girl crazy. I know I may not act black, but I've seen black girl crazy. For those of you who've never seen it, you got a small glimpse of it in Tarantino at Lockdown. But trust me, you don't ever want to see black girl crazy up close and personal. Someone could die. Just saying. After that, Velvet Sky, boom, in your face to Gail Kim. 1, 2, 3. Velvet Sky, still Knockouts champion. And Velvet Sky, that girl is beautiful. Anyway, 4th match of the night. Robbie T versus Robbie E. Rob Terry versus Robbie E, people. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm sick of calling him Robbie T already. And this is probably the match that's my least favorite of the night. And again, it was a typical small dude against his former bodyguard match. That type of thing. I like Rob Terry as Rob Terry. I'm so glad they're dropping this stupid Robbie T thing because, well, I probably hate Robbie E because I kind of have this hatred for the Jersey Shore in general. But, that to each his own. Not even that much to go into about that match, except San Antonio was so firmly behind Rob Terry, it was insane. Robbie E had some good offense. It was a decent match. It was a decent match, But like I said, least favorite of the night. But maybe Rob Terry can go back to being the beast we all know he is, and maybe we can see him in some more settings now. Rob Terry wins, I think, with that thrust spinebuster finisher of his. Wins over Robbie E. Okay. Number 5 match of the night was probably it's tied Because like I was like I'm reading now. There were 8 matches on the card, and I had 3 top favorites. This match, the number 5th match was one of my top favorites. It was a triple threat tag team match for the World Tag Team titles with Austin Aries and Bobby Roode defending against Bad Influence of Christopher Daniels and Kazarian and Chavo Guerrero and Hernandez. Let me clarify that. Bad Influence is Christopher Daniels and Kazarian, team number 1. Chavo and Hernandez, team number 2, and team number 3, the World Tag Team Champions, Aries and Roode. We're clear? We're clear. Okay. Quick backstory of this match. Going into Lockdown, and this is like even in the afternoon before the show started, no one knew if Robert Roode was had even signed his contract to re-signed with TNA, because his contract had expired with TNA. So all throughout the weekend, even at the fan access, he wasn't there. So a lot of my friends who went there are saying, "Hey, man, do you think he actually quit the company, or like, do you think he'll be there?" And I was like, "Man, I don't know. I guess we'll see tomorrow." But before I left the house, before I left home to go to the pay-per-view, it was about probably 3 hours before I left. I was looking and I saw that he re-signed. I was like, "Wow, TNA must have pulled out just on the wire." And before I get into the match, let me just say, I'm glad Robert Roode re-signed. I'm glad he's back where he belongs in TNA, because if he went to WWE, I think they'd misuse him. No offense to WWE, but I think they would, they make him start from scratch and not make build. And you don't have to with Robert Roode. He's already established somewhere else. He's already been world champion. He was the longest reigning TNA world champion they've had so far. And I don't think you need to go through all the trouble of repackaging him, reestablishing his character. No, he's great as Robert Roode. Let him stay Robert Roode. Okay, then that's that. To the match itself. Great tag team match. I cannot stress that enough. When you have such a charismatic team as Bad Influence and Daniels and Kazarian, which are just a great team to watch, by the way, and you got the hometown boy Fernandez teaming with the man from the legendary family like Chavo Guerrero against 2 of wrestling's most arrogant stars in Aries and Roode, you could not go wrong with this match. And TNA absolutely did not. They brought this match, those 3 teams, it was great. It started off awesome, it ended awesome, and what's funny is the finish was probably one of the best finishes I've ever seen. Because it's one that's been done before, but timing in good finishes is what's important. The finish. Daniels was down on the mat. Chavo was going up for a frog splash, and just before he took, and I'm saying like maybe a second before his feet left, or maybe his feet were leaving the turnbuckle, Roode tagged his foot to get the tag in, and so he hit the frog splash on Daniels, but he wasn't the legal man. So Roode rushes in, throws Chavo out, and gets the pin. It was great timing done. A lot of those kinds of things can go horribly wrong, and just like you have to quick go another finish. But even if that wasn't the finish, and they missed a cue somewhere, with these 6 individuals, I have no doubt that they could have come up with something on the spot and still made it a fantastic ending. So, to recap, Aries and Roode retain the tag team titles. But let me say this one more caveat. TNA, I'm not gonna lie, I know Aries and Roode are former world heavyweight champions, but all 6 of the guys in that match, all 6 of the guys, Daniels, Kazarian, Guerrero, Hernandez, all of them are world champion material. Some people may not agree with me. Okay, make your own video blog. Make your own blog, please. I don't mind. Make your own video blog and voice your opinion about it. But I just think all those guys can make phenomenal world champions in their own right. I really do. Maybe I'm a little bit biased towards Hernandez because that's just Hernandez. I know him. He's great. He's a cool guy. But just saying. We had a brief kind of interlude while they quickly set up the cage. Big shouts out to Don Juan working with the ring crew. And we got to maybe my. You know what? Let me reorder my least favorite matches of the night. Let me reorder those. The Robbie T match was my very least favorite. My second least favorite was the knockout style match. My third least favorite was this match I'm about to mention. Seventh match of the night, Wes Briscoe versus Kurt Angle. And not because I have a problem with Kurt Angle, because by no means do I have a problem with Kurt Angle. Great wrestler. What is he doing wrestling against Wes Briscoe at one of TNA's premier pay-per-views? I know a lot of people are going to hate me for that. You know, oh, his dad, or, great. This is a big pay-per-view. And maybe, yeah, this was his big breakout moment. But this is Kurt Angle on, I think he could have wrestled anyone else from Aces and Eights. Personally, my choice would have been Anderson. Honestly. It would have been Anderson for him to wrestle then. But that's neither here nor there. This is how the match went. Briscoe and Angle, actually, but I won't lie though. Briscoe did do a good job. He did a good job. But then again, if you're in a match with Kurt Angle and you come out looking bad, that means that you literally did nothing but screw up the entire match. Because Kurt Angle is, one of the best pure wrestlers of all time. Some people don't think so. Again, that's your opinion. Finish came when Kurt Angle had escaped the cage, but the VP of Aces and Eights, D'Lo Brown, the real deal, danger at the door. Anyway, some of you got that reference, some of you had no clue what I was talking about. Came in, beat up Kurt Angle, threw him back in the cage, and then dragged Wes Briscoe out. Of course, the referee was down for that whole switcheroo, and so Wes Briscoe wins by escaping the cage. Great stuff, but good stuff. But like I said, Wes Briscoe up against Kurt Angle. I think some issues with that. Anyway, seventh match of the night. Another one of my top three favorites was Team Aces and Eights versus Team TNA. Team Aces and Eights, you had Devon, Mr. Anderson, Knox, Doc, and Garrett Bischoff. I have a whole rant about Garrett Bischoff. Against Team TNA, Sting, Magnus, Samoa Joe, James Storm, Eric Young. 5-on-5 match. War Games rules, and for those of you who never seen a War Games match or didn't even know what one is, I'll explain it. In WCW, they used to have the War Games matches where it was a cage. One member from each team starts out, and every minute or 90 seconds, another member of each team comes out. And it's not until all the team members are in that pinfalls and submissions count. And Lethal Lockdown, which is what this match is, after that, when the last member comes in, weapons are brought into play. Early advantage went to Aces and Eights because of the Impact matches they had just the Thursday before. But it was that was a really good match, despite the fact that Garrett Bischoff was in it. Okay, let me explain that. I do not like the fact that Garrett Bischoff is getting so much airtime. Wes Briscoe may be green. Garrett Bischoff is not ready. I know usually I give a lot of guys the benefit of the doubt, and everyone knows that I give a lot of people the benefit of the doubt. Garrett Bischoff is not ready for these spots he's getting. I don't know why he's getting them, except for his last name and his dad, but it's too much sometimes. And Aces and Eights is a great concept, I think, and of course everyone knows NWO ripoff, but it's just that he's not ready. He's not experienced enough yet, and I don't think he should be in the top heel stable of the company right now. He should be doing the opening matches, working on trying to get better. Team TNA was solid though, even with the addition of Eric Young, who you'd think would be the silliest guy in the group, and he is, but he really just blew away everybody last night. He did a great job, and he really worked hard at it. The finish came with a top rope elbow drop from Eric Young onto I believe it was Knox, and that was just a beautiful thing. It was a great elbow drop. So big ups to Eric Young taking that risk. Big ups to all 10 combatants in that match, because you guys really pulled it out. It was a great match, and I enjoyed it very much, and I'm very glad it happened in San Antonio. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we arrive to the piece de resistance. Match number 8, the main event for the TNA World Heavyweight Championship. The defending champion Jeff Hardy against the #1 contender, Bully Ray. And if for no other reason other than the finish, this was my favorite match of the night. Let me explain. I've been saying for about a year now that Bully Ray was going to win the world title. Honestly, I thought he was going to be the one who was going to beat Austin Aries and take it. But I can see why they had Jeff Hardy win it. Jeff Hardy's been doing a great job on his road to recovery. He has been keeping his nose clean and everything, and he has been, and he's been really good about that. So, big props to Jeff Hardy. I'm proud of him. I'm glad he's doing well. But Bully Ray, I just think, when Team 3D broke up, I just think those guys were just, running on all cylinders as singles guys. And I think both Devon and Bully Ray are in the best shapes of their lives. And this is 20 years since they first debuted in ECW. And now they're in the best shape of their lives. That's amazing to say. But they are. And it's a cool thing to see. So, big ups to them, big props to them. Righteous boys. The match before the finish was what you would expect from Jeff Hardy and Bully Ray, two guys who've known each other for years. They didn't hold back. They pulled out all the stops to beat each other. You could have won with pinfall submission or escaping the cage. And Jeff, surprisingly, tried to escape the cage more often than I thought he would. But it was just a fun, great match to see. Now, what was great was a lot of people got fooled. I wasn't one of them, but a lot of people got fooled because at one point, Bischoff and Briscoe from Aces and Eights ran in and tried to interfere in the match. And then Jeff and Bully fought them off and threw them out of the cage, and they continued the match. And you're thinking, oh, okay, cool, they're gonna have an honest to goodness match just inside a cage. At one point, but eventually, when it looked like Hardy might have a chance of winning, when both him and Bully were down, Hogan and Brooke came out, trying to cheer on Bully Ray, Brooke cheering on her husband, Hulk cheering on his son-in-law, after, giving him big speeches and motivational talks about how, you're gonna, make me proud son-in-law and blah, blah, blah. After a few more, minutes, here they come. Aces and Eights. Devon, Anderson, Knox, and Doc. And they climb the cage. Jeff and Bully back to back, and and not only were they climbing the cage, Devon was climbing, staring straight at Bully the whole time, and just saying, Bully Ray saying, "Come on," and both these guys, ready to take on, Aces and Eights. Then the most beautiful moment of all time happened. Bully Ray motioned at Devon to come on. Devon pulled out a ball-peen hammer and tossed it to Bully Ray. And the look on Bully Ray's face as he turned and clocked Jeff Hardy right in the back of the head with that ball-peen hammer. It was glorious. 1, 2, 3. Bully Ray is your new World Heavyweight Champion. And not only is he your new World Heavyweight Champion, he announces himself as the president of Aces and Eights. If you guys only knew how awesome that was for me. There were little kids sitting by me who were heartbroken, devastated. There were grown people who just had their world destroyed. And me and my friend the professor, who was sitting nowhere near me, but I could see him, we were cheering so loud because Aces and Eights took over, and they did it. And it was such a beautiful, beautiful moment that the fans in San Antonio threw trash at the ring. Beer bottles and beer cans were flying from everywhere, plastic bottles, Gatorade bottles, soda bottles. Oh my God, it was awesome. I know it's a story that's been done. And we all know this. Come on, let's not even kid ourselves. Most wrestling stories have been done before. There are very few original stories out there. But that was awesome. Because there's always so much speculation about who was behind Aces and Eights. And let's be honest, and I'll be honest, even I didn't think it was Bully Ray. I thought maybe he became in league with them later, and I thought that night he was going to reveal it. But I did not know he was the president. I swear to you, I thought it was Jeff Jarrett. I really did. Finding out it was bully made it better. A great night of wrestling. A great showing from San Antonio just as fans and as a crowd. And a great show. I spent so much money over this weekend in preparation for it, getting shirts and stuff. Money well spent. TNA, I want to thank you, because wrestling has always been a great part of this town, and that's one reason I love San Antonio so much, is because wrestling is just so great here. And I just want to thank you, TNA, for coming out. I hope you guys come back real soon, another pay-per-view hopefully, or even just filming Impact, and we'll represent again. So thank you to everybody else. I'll catch you later. Thanks for watching the video. I hope you guys have a very good one. God bless. See you later. Peace.